Hey you wacky creatures. It's been a while since my last rap video about splatfests came out, and since I've had time to review my old opinions, I want to renew them. To clarify, this was recorded after the third Spring Fest, so new splatfests are long gone by now. Since my last video, the result stats were changed to involve second place teams, and fizz banks were added. I can definitely see that the devs did listen to our complaints a little, and I do really appreciate the changes. So, to make sure that the first video isn't my only first impression to newcomers, let's refresh what I've argued about in my other video. Mirrors are still an insane problem in Splatfests, and people often blame them for losing. I can understand their argument and why I was so pissed about it in my original video. Mirrors work as shown. When there's too much of a team queuing in at the same time, the game will eventually just throw the teams against each other. The problem this gives us is when the overwhelming majority of our games are mirrors. This is where the frustration lies. For example, I was on Team Saturday for the weekend Splatfest. Every Splatfest, I usually get about 100k clout in open, since I mostly just play Splatfests with friends. I got a total of 25k in both open and pro, 1/4 of that usual amount, and I got to ruler that way. 95% or more of all of the games I played were mirrors, and since the rest of my team likely had that same issue, they would demolish us because they just want to play the game about fighting the opposing team. This also gave us the issue of not getting any multiplayer battles the entire Splatfest. I didn't even get a simple 10x. That Splatfest made me feel miserable, and I stopped altogether when I got to ruler. Although a more recent update puts more importance to mirror matches, that makes it so you aren't completely wasting your time. Conch clashes. Conch clashes are essentially games that give you conches based on the amount shown. They can give you 1, 10, or 33, each getting more rare as you go up in number. I think the devs did all they could for the mirror match problem, as people were mainly upset that mirror matches give you absolutely nothing except to bring your rank meter up. Not by a lot too, it's very little. I once saw a mock-up post about how to fix this problem by adding a pop-up that lets you wait longer for a match against another team. On paper, this sounds pretty good, but in practice it can get muddy pretty fast. Let's say you're on a very popular team and you want to wait more to fight other teams. It's very likely that a lot of your team also wants to fight the other teams. This would make you wait an enormous amount of time before you get a single match, especially in the weekend fest standings. The thing is, long wait times are exactly what the devs wanted to avoid when adding mirror matches in the very first Splatfest, which is why it was delayed by about 2 weeks to implement them to counteract long waits. I understand that mirrors are annoying when they are back-to-back. Personally, that was something that made me hate Splatfests for a while, but now that some of them aren't a waste of time, I don't feel too upset about it like I did before. Plus, I haven't experienced more than 3 mirrors in the past few Splatfests, so it's not really that annoying anymore, at least to me. Something that's more common than you may think is frustratingly deciding to just give up when you've had all or most of your battles be mirrors. It feels like the entire Splatfest becomes stale very fast after being exposed to a wave of time-wasting battles. I've done this, and I believe you may have done this too if you were on a popular team before. If you haven't, then I applaud you for having such resilience to repetition, but it's an extreme pet peeve for me. The same thing over and over again not only makes me bored, but it also makes me upset and frustrated. It's like that one Plankton clip. Alright, I get it! Honestly, I still kind of stand by what I've said about tricolor. I don't really like it, but I should have gone in more depth about the whole I hate the maps kind of thing. I talked about Manta Maria and how it was terrible to play on, and I can't help but reiterate the same thing I said. Most of the maps are defender based, and I could hardly ever get close to the ultra signal because we would have to swim up onto a platform or go into the middle. which is impossible for defenders to miss, and walk on the grates, which is already awkward to begin with. This position makes it hard to make sure that your teammate can also help you with getting the ultra signal, since you can be attacked by every side possible, including from underneath. Plus, there's a very big chance while walking on the grates you can just immediately get killed. If you like this map and you are a Charger main, no takebacks. I'm Joshin. I'm such a jokester, such a goof. I'm a goofy little goofy goof. Nah, I might just have a skill issue or something. I don't know. As much as I want to understand why I was so mad about Tricolor having a lot of points, I feel like it was just salt from the fact that Shiver won the Greeting Fest by gaining Tricolor and only Tricolor. Although, if the new result system was applied here, Fry would have won, hee. Tricolor is a comeback mode. It's there so the losing teams at halftime have a chance at winning despite the halftime report, since it only counts open and I think pro? I might be wrong, so feel free to correct me in the comments. I still stand by the points I made here too, although I strongly disagree with picking based off of idol. I really don't care about what team you pick for what reasons, except for the idol reason. And you might hate me for this take or agree with me, but the people who actually did pick teams, especially with the Grand Fest based off of idols, I found to be really annoyed by. By the way, if you actually picked off of the theme or whatever else kind of reason, this isn't about you. You're good, don't worry. But if you did pick based off of idols, I guess just don't listen to me if you don't want criticism based off of that. The thing I'm upset about isn't the fact that the theme comes first and your favorite idols is a bonus, because that's perfectly fine. I don't care about that. The problem is solely off of idols and only idols. It boils the Splatfest down to a singular option that doesn't require deeper thinking than, this is my favorite idol, I must join their team no matter what. The point of Splatfests isn't idols. It's supposed to make you think about what you agree with the most. And if you agree with all of them equally, my method is just doing a coin flip or a wheel of names. That's how I became Team Power, Money, and Rice. Though I actually want to switch over to Team Wisdom. That's sadly not possible anymore. Why am I so passionate about what you want to do? Because grr, I'm crazy. Grr, I don't have whimsy. But seriously, do whatever you want. I can't stop you. I just wanted to express how I felt about that. Though the Leader Fest should not have been a thing, because it was basically just an idol fest in disguise. Still a big problem. Yeah, a lot of the video states things that are still relevant now. The thing I disagree with, though, is how I believed that when someone in a multiplayer battle disconnects, the battle should keep going. I do, however, believe now that when someone disconnects and suspends the battle, that it should automatically make the next match the multiplayer battle you have missed due to the disconnect not related to you. Of course, if you disconnect, it shouldn't toggle that feature whether it's intentional or not. The problem with continuing the match in the first minute when you're 1 or 2 players short is a massive disadvantage that your team will have. 1 extra player goes a long way, and it can be the determining factor of whether you lose or not. Fairness on both sides should be accounted for, and making 7 or more people upset that they now can't get the multiplayer battle again because of another player disconnecting should also be accounted for. Especially if it was a 333X. I have yet to even see a 333X for me, but I can only imagine the sting of knowing that you couldn't continue the rarest battle in the game because of this rampant issue. Peer-to-peer also sucks. Can we move on from that shit, please? As I stated before, my pet peeve is mainly repetitiveness. But when I play with friends, I honestly feel like I can actually enjoy the game. Especially on Team Future. That was the most fun I've ever had in the Splatfest, and they really went above and beyond for Grand Fest. the venue, the Grand Festival, the tricolor shouts, the outfits, the performances, the overall experience of the Grand Fest was absolutely incredible. Though I was passionately pissed about us not even getting a singular point, so it felt like all of our battles didn't amount to anything. One of my friends had 2 million clout and I had 700k. That's the most I've ever gotten in any Splatfest. But no, I don't care. I had fun, and I'm taking the L with grace. I feel way better considering Team Order lost and still got a DLC surrounding the theme, so that's kind of like a win in a way. I also love these 3 little cringe fails. I'm so excited to see them in Splatoon Raiders. Also, a side rant. Whoa, I'm a deep cut fan. The Sunken Scrolls displays a big amount of lore that just wasn't touched on in the entirety of the game. The 3 lights that show up to save people from the flood of the Splatlands. Where is more information on that? Like, they bring up something that sounds so cool and don't elaborate on any further. Unless there is something I missed about that, I can't recall finding anything else about it in the game. I really hope Raiders goes deeper into the past of Deep Cut because there's just so much to be explored with them, it's unreal. Now, what's my conclusion? Much better. Yeah, I'm very passionate and nerdy about Splatoon in general. I was a little too pessimistic in my original video, and it really didn't align with what I believe now. The original video was also when Fry's huge lose streak was happening, and I was upset about the fact it felt debilitating to play, and then know that I was just gonna lose anyway. I kind of gave up trying and would automatically stop playing after gaining the ruler title until Grand Fest, of course. I got like ruler +2 or something. I'm just wondering what the devs will do with the past theme since it all came down to the Squid Sisters in the end. I really hope they don't use them for the next game. I've had enough of them. They had 3 story modes in a Final Fest win. Give them a break, please. I don't want to hear another incantation. Also, like I said, Deep Cut origin story, please. I'm begging you. I want more on them. I love them so much. Please, 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 please.